Welcome. Today, let's consider some things that we should think about before we homeschool high school. Welcome to my channel, Learning with Boys. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mama for boys. I have graduated too. This school year, I have a high schooler and a middle schooler. And today I'm hoping to share some high school tips with you that will help you that I had to learn through my homeschooling journey. So today I'm going to share those with you. We are on our 16th year. I do enjoy doing videos past and present. I have high school videos, I have videos from earlier years, and I also share some personal experience through my homeschool journey. So if you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe. And if this video is helpful in any way, please give it a thumbs up. That would encourage me. All right, one thing I do want to mention, I think it can be true no matter what stage of homeschooling you are in, that we are in a period of history where information is at our fingertips. We can gather so much information about homeschooling high school, about different curriculums, and that is wonderful. And as we do that, we start realizing how many different ways there are to homeschool, and that's another great thing. But hopefully you are able to narrow down the way you and your family want to do it. And you will have to do that to a point. If not, you are going to start either watching videos or reading books, and you're going to be looking at this person thinking, oh, I want to implement that, and I want to implement this, and oh, that curriculum looks good, and I want to try that one. And it can really start to feel overwhelming, not just for you, but also for your student. And you want them to enjoy this experience of homeschooling just as much as you want to enjoy it. So keep that in mind, that making some decisions ahead of time for your family goals, your family whys, and that will have to be done each year, because things will change as your kids get older for sure. But the first thing I do want to mention about homeschooling high school is that you are not going to be able to teach them everything. And that sort of falls from what I've just said, that you can feel that pressure sometimes, especially when you're comparing yourself with everything you see and watch. That's why I'm going to mention a few things to you. So, setting your desired goals for your family as you enter the high school years of what you want to implement and teach them. It may be something, a certain subject that you want to be sure that all your kids have, or it may be something of faith, maybe it's apologetics. Maybe it's something that's just like being able to cook or being able to change the tire. Whatever it is, just make sure that that is scheduled in and written down so you don't forget. Just make sure that you sort of think those things through, and that could be just something you do with your husband and your teenager, or as a family, some things that you want to make sure that are implemented in through those years. And the second thing is don't forget about your students' interest. I know all my boys have had different interests, and usually that can lead to being able to have a credit for that. I've had one that was into photography and videography, for example, and that actually motivated him to get the other schoolwork done. So letting them have that time for that interest and making sure that you count it as a credit is very helpful. And sometimes that has to be planned. Sometimes that interest might change, which is fine. That might just lead to another elective. So I just want to share that with you. So you have your family goals that you want to implement in the high school years, their interest, and also the requirements that you would have for your state. Now, I know not every state has requirements, but for ours it does. So I'm going to have to consider those in my plan, my 4-year plan for high school. Now, I do have videos that go more into detail on filling that paperwork out and those kind of things, and I'll link some high school videos below. But if your state does not have requirements, you may just want to come up with a plan anyways, just to give you some set goals, Maybe there are some subjects that you want them to be familiar with. Maybe it's government, maybe it's economics. Just to have a little bit of a plan helps you and definitely will help them, because they're going to come to you and say, okay, now what's next? What's required? How much more do I have to be done? And you might have to really take some time and explain credits to them, explain requirements, explain what work has to be done to earn that. So just that communication there and narrowing things down, because remember, like I said, you're not going to be able to teach everything to them, but you can teach them the joy of learning and how to work and teach themselves. The second thing is to just continue where they are at as they're going through 7th and 8th grade and they're going into 9th. Just continue the paths of study. You know, they've already done like math and history and science and some form of language arts. They're just going to continue to the next level. There's not a lot of changes there. The changes come in some of the extras, like electives that maybe you've already implemented in some areas like finance or economics, or it might end up being new to them. That's fine, just something you need to schedule out. One other thought I just want to mention that could fall under that is, I know for my oldest, I didn't want to do science at home. So I did plan through the 7th and 8th grade year. I just really prayed about the possibility of doing a co-op, and the Lord gave us that opportunity, and he was able to do a co-op class in 7th, and he did a couple classes in 8th. That way when he entered 9th, it was already familiar to him. And my two oldest both did some co-op classes in high school. But it was something that we planned ahead on. And if it's not something you can plan ahead on and the opportunity opens up, I still think it's a good opportunity. Just make sure that you've prayed about it, that you've taken your student with you, and they're comfortable with it, that type of thing. Just include them. And that would be my third thing, is to include them in your choices for high school. Let them know what your family goals are. Find out what they're interested in and how you can implement that. Now, as you're doing the 4-year plan, I always use a pencil, because changes will happen, whether it be, just circumstances, or sometimes their interest change. Just keep that in mind. It's okay if that happens. It's just you want to have some plan that you can look back on, they can look back on. But include them in picking out curriculum. Maybe you want to try an online curriculum. Let them review it. A lot of these curriculums you can try for a 3-week trial, or you can watch samples and even print off some of the curriculum itself. So there's lots of options there in giving them some choices and letting them be involved in that. Don't give them too many choices. Maybe you can narrow some choices down and then give them a couple. That always, to me, that is more helpful, especially when you're going into 9th grade, because I feel like when they're coming out of 8th going into 9th, sometimes they're still in that middle school brain fog, and they may not come out of that till the end of 9th grade into 10th. So I'm just going to give you a little bit warning about that. So just really just helping and guiding them through that 9th grade year. Don't be afraid to help. You will really start to see a huge change through 10th grade, definitely by the end of 10th grade, that they come out of that and they're ready for independence and they're ready to set their own goals. So it's amazing. You don't think it's going to happen, and boom, there they are. They're ready. So that brings me to my 4th thing, to be ready for change. And that is one of the changes that you'll start to notice, that they're growing up and they aren't going to need you as much, and they're going to become independent. They're going to be ready to make some of their own choices. I still feel like as parents, we need to be praying for them. Don't be afraid to guide them a little bit, and keep building that relationship with them. There's going to be teachable moments that the Lord will give you. Use them, use scripture, make sure that they know that you're praying for them and God has a special plan for them, and you're praying that God makes the way clear for them. So, but be ready for that, because it's hard. It's hard to let go sometimes. As they enter 11th and 12th, they're going to have more outside activities offered to them. They're going to possibly start driving and having a job, and they're not going to be around as much. They're not going to need you as much. I feel like I drove and was a chauffeur for so long, and now all three of my boys drive. So, which is nice, but then I miss those opportunities when we were in the car together, believe it or not. I feel like those were a lot of teachable moments there, just taking them to the places. So don't miss those. They won't last forever. So that is the fourth thing, is just be ready for that change. It will come. And as long as you've been working on your relationship with them, those changes will be a little bit hard, especially with that first one. It's really can be a little bit emotional. But just be faithful and, pray for them. Listen to them when they're telling you things. Be there for them when they want to talk, because they will. And it's usually late at night, and I know that's really hard, but it's worth it. It's worth listening and taking the time to be with them when they're ready. So, because that won't always be there either. And those were just a few things. I feel like there's a lot more that I could share with you. I just wanted to give you those thoughts as you may be entering into this journey of homeschooling high school. I'm very grateful that God gave me this opportunity. I know I don't feel qualified, maybe you don't, but I know if God's called you to do it, that He will enable you. He has been faithful in showing me that, so I'm very grateful. Homeschooling high school will have its ups and downs. There will be trials, but there will be joyous moments, and just keeping that relationship with the Lord, keeping that relationship with your child is so important. So, all right, I do appreciate you all watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you again soon.